About 6 months ago, Algeria went wild when it qualified to play in the World Cup in South Africa. The national team had not been on the international scene for 24 years. The football thrill swept aside some of the nation's worry. This suited the government as well, and its national reconciliation policy. It also meant a pickup in some businesses. For years, football enthusiasts had bought anything but the national colours. This has changed now in a big way.
Some days we can sell 15 shirts. Since the team qualified, even little 2-year-olds are wearing them. Just like the grown-ups.
Foreign investors also started taking a new look at Algeria. Football gave it an image boost. It helped sell other things too. Suddenly, companies were paying attention. They want a piece of the action. A top 1980s player was once again in the limelight. He talks about his beginnings in street games.
That's what I came from. No one who didn't play out in the street or on an empty lot can become a top player.
Algeria chose players who were almost all trained in France. They have double nationality. The editor of a newspaper specializing in football talks about the reasons for this selection.
It's the Algerian Football Federation's strategy to try to convince dual nationality players who are developing in the best environments in Europe to opt for Algeria. It was slow going at first. Now they're getting results. The policy has borne fruit.
The selection for the World Cup includes just 4 players trained in Algeria. It's a sign of how little attention football has had here in the recent past, when political instability reduced the country to bloody violence.
Unfortunately, after that dark decade, football was badly affected, like the economy and other parts of society. It was not the best surrounding for an Algerian player to evolve in.
The 1990s murderous struggle between the Algerian authorities and rebels took its toll on sport as well. The national team, nicknamed the Fennecs, the Desert Foxes, went into decline. Teams of any level did poorly in matches away from home. But now the government is making professional football part of its strategy to knit the country back together. The International Football Federation has recommended an increasingly professional approach to the sport. A former coach agrees with this.
It's about political will. And when you have that coming, not just from the state, everything is possible. For example, youth training clubs like Formfoot, which has been going for 10 years now, where the president of the club gets involved. That's happened with the Paradou club in Hydra, where the Zetchi brothers created a school that's already produced results and which is sure to turn out good players in a couple of years. Where there's a will, anything is possible.
تتمر وإن شاء الله على سنتين فقط يكونوا لاعبين وهذا شيء جميل لما تكون إرادة كل شيء ممكن إن شاء الله.
The Paradou Athletic Club Academy is a rare sort of project in Algeria. It was set up in 2007 in cooperation with the Jean-Marc Guilloux Academies. He's a French ex-footballer and now a trainer. The boys aged 11 to 16 were scouted from across the country to come to this boarding school. They play barefoot year-round, though it's not because there's a shoe shortage. The coach explains.
When a boy gets here and he weighs around 25 kilos, if you add a third of a kilo or so to each foot, it's a handicap for running, like loading him up with a heavy bag. Better to let him go barefoot to get a feel for the ball. It's really important for technique.
C'est quand même très important et puis ça bonifie sa technique.
After morning workout, the boys get behind their books. A teacher answers the question, do their heads show the same promise as their feet?
The answer to that is plainly yes. The program here is well worked out. There's time both for study and training. I want to stress that the people in charge of this academy might even give more importance to studying than football, which may surprise you.
The academy has earned respect with its approach. It's closely linked to the Paradou Athletic Club, a neighborhood team started in 1994, which climbed the ladder steadily and reached the first division only 8 years later.
These kids we're working with really have a huge potential. In my opinion, this is great work we're doing here together. Don't forget, it takes a lot of time to train a player, 7 or 8 years minimum. I think and hope that most of the players will get into big clubs. But the first and last to benefit will be the national team, as well as football in Algeria.
The whole country's hopes have been lifted with the Fennecs back on the big pitch. It's the third time they've made the World Cup grade after 1982 and 1986. A happy coincidence with their football anthem, 1, 2, 3, Viva Algeria.
1, 2, 3.